Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, December 18, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 500 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Appalachian State vs Western Kentucky. Junior wide receiver Juris Stearns finished leading the team with 179 receiving yards and was one of 2 players to finish with at least 100 receiving yards in the game. The defense needs to step up more consistently as they are allowing 28.7 points against them and are giving up 422.5 yards per game. They need to play even better defensively if they want to pull out the win. The Mountaineers have had a strong schedule this season, especially given the success of the Sun Belt over the last few seasons, and they have the game plan and advantages to take down the Hilltoppers. The Mountaineers will be without one of their top receivers, but Bryce remains one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country and should have his way with Western Kentucky's defense. Beyond that, Appalachian State's ability to control the game on the ground and control the clock will serve as a key, as it should also keep Western Kentucky's offense off of the field. Senior wide receiver Thomas Hennigan led the Mountaineers with 71 receiving yards and is the only player who had at least 30 receiving yards in the game. The defense has been playing well this season as they are allowing 19.3 points and gave up 325.8 yards per game this year. They need to continue forcing punts and field goals if they want to win here. The Appalachian State Mountaineers take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers on Saturday morning from Faust Stadium in the Boca Raton Bowl. The Hilltoppers come in sitting at 8-5, but were winners of 7 in a row before dropping the CUSA title game the last time out. For Appalachian State, they were winners of 6 in a row of their own before dropping their last game in the Sun Belt Championship the last time out. These two teams haven't met recently, and given the style of play for both sides, this expects to be a high-scoring affair filled with dramatics. Though it might be one of the first bowl games of the season, it's sure to be one of the most exciting. Our first betting advice is to pick Appalachian State, -3. Western Kentucky turned quite a few heads with one of the country's most elusive offenses this season. The Hilltoppers rank second in the country in yards per game and points per game, on the backs of the nation's top passing offense. The concern is the ground game. The Hilltoppers ranked 125th in rushing yards per game, and in an effort to control the clock, they will likely fail on Saturday. Bailey's app has been a bright spot for the Hilltoppers this season, having tossed for 426 yards per game, along with 56 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. It doesn't hurt that he has a pair of talented and athletic receivers to rely on in Mitchell Tinsley, 99 yards per game, and Juris Stearns, 132 yards per game. Appalachian State will have their hands full in the secondary trying to slow down the Hilltoppers. Appalachian State has been one of the top offenses in the Sun Belt over the last few seasons, and considering Western Kentucky's struggles on defense, shouldn't struggle to move the ball. They rank top 25 nationally in scoring and have solid balance, ranking 59th in passing yards and 38th in rushing yards. Chase Bryce, the one-time Clemson quarterback, has been the leader at quarterback and has the potential to go out with a bang. Tossing 23 touchdowns compared to 10 interceptions, he has the potential to light up Western Kentucky's secondary, but could have issues without his top receiving threat. The running back duo of Nate Noel, 82 rushing yards per game, and Cameron Peoples, 75 rushing yards per game, should serve to help the Mountaineers control the clock. Our second betting advice is to pick under 68.5. South Carolina State vs Jackson State. South Carolina is averaging 24.4 points per game. They are averaging 210.2 passing yards and 141.9 rushing yards per game. Corey Fields Jr. completed 50.7% of his passes for 1,931 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Kendrell Flowers led the team with 811 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns, while Shaquin Davis led the team with 652 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. South Carolina State has struggled defensively, giving up 27.6 points per game. They gave up 21 points in their last game and will need a similar effort if they want to win this game. Jackson State is a much more talented team than South Carolina State, and I expect that to be on full display Saturday. This is Jackson State's first trip to the Celebration Bowl, and in front of a sellout crowd on national TV, I expect Coach Sanders' Tigers to show up and show out. South Carolina State went 1-2 against SWAC teams this season, which included a 42-41 loss to Alabama A&M and 37 to Florida A&M. Jackson State was able to win all 9 of their games in the SWAC, which included a blowout of Alabama A&M 61-15 and a 7-6 victory over Florida A&M in the season opener. Jackson State is averaging 29.1 points per game. They are averaging 254.7 passing yards and 93.8 rushing yards per game. Shedeur Sanders, son of Coach Prime, completed 67.9% of his passes for 3,056 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Peyton Pickett led the team with 435 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns, while Keith Corbin III led the team with 897 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. Jackson State played well defensively, giving up 13 points per game. The Jackson State Tigers, 11-1, champions of the SWAC, will take on the MAC champion South Carolina State Bulldogs, 6-5, Saturday on ABC in the Celebration Bowl. This game decides the Black College Football National Championship amongst the historically black colleges and universities. Since the Celebration Bowl began in 2015, the MAC has won 4 of the 5 meetings. North Carolina A&T has all 4 of the MAC's victories, and Grambling State earned the only win for the SWAC back in 2017. Our first betting advice is to pick Jackson State Tigers -10. On December 4th, Jackson State beat Prairie View for the conference championship 27-10 as a 7-point favorite. The game was a defensive struggle, with Jackson State only outgaining Prairie View 233-230 in total yardage, but the Tigers forced 5 turnovers, while only committing 1 themselves in the victory. The Bulldogs are averaging 24.4 ppg and 352.1 total yards. The passing game has picked up 210.2 yards per game, and they are picking up 141.9 rushing yards per game. Corey Fields Jr. leads the team with 1,931 passing yards, completing 50.7% of his passes, with 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Kendrell Flowers leads the ground game with 811 yards on 158 rushing attempts and 10 touchdowns. Jackson State was tied for second in the SWAC, averaging 29 ppg, and 7th in total yards, picking up 349.8 per game. They are second in the conference with 254.7 passing yards, but last amongst the 12 teams running for only 95.1 yards per contest. The coach's son, freshman quarterback Shedeur Sanders led the offense, completing 68% of his passes for 3,056 yards with 29 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Sanders is the first HBCU player to win the Jerry Rice Award, which is awarded to the top freshman in FCS football. Our second betting advice is to pick over 42.5.